the lighting alright?
So.
I think the lighting's a little weird.
Wow, you just look so great. Stunning. What up, Condos?
Don't touch me.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Of course, as always.
What is that in the mirror? Can you change that?
What?
Okay.
As I was saying,
Nick, hurry
give this
up.
video a thumbs up, hit that bell button. What do we say?
And subscribe to our channel.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
If you like our videos.
Yes.
No
Look,
pressure.
Today,
I don't like being desperate.
Today, of course, you all know we're pregnant. We're pregnant.
Oh, Nick, don't be weird. I'm pregnant. You're not pregnant.
You're pregnant.
Today's video is going to be all about newborn essentials and what we did with Georgie. So when we had Georgie, we honestly didn't go crazy and buy all the things we couldn't at that time. So this is just like a list of stuff that I think you actually need, because there was even stuff that I did buy that I didn't end up using. I'm gonna start with like nursing, breastfeeding, bottle feeding, and all of that, because when you first have a newborn, feeding is a really big thing. That's all you do is feed them milk. So if you're planning on breastfeeding, we'll start with that. I only did it for 4 months, so I did a mix of breastfeeding, express feeding, as well as formula feeding. So I tried it all. I think it is like easy sometimes to like definitely express, because then you're not like solely the person feeding the baby. So let's start. Now, what you need, I think first is you need a breastfeeding bra. I think that's like the first thing you need when you have a newborn. But you need something that's gonna unclip at the front. Now, where did I get mine from? I got breastfeeding singlets from Kmart. You can literally get them from anywhere. Yeah, they were all good. I had lots of random ones from everywhere. I didn't spend a lot of money. You don't need to, because you're not gonna wear them again.
No.
And when you have your next child, I don't even know where mine are. I'll probably just go to Kmart and buy some more. They're really cheap. So that's the first thing you need. The next thing, now people always talk about birth blocks. Don't have too many. I had a few, but it depends on your baby. Georgie wasn't a baby that spewed up a lot, so I was lucky in that regard, but definitely have a few. Also have some bibs, even when you are feeding, just so they don't dirty their clothes. Now, let's talk nursing pillow. This is something that I actually didn't really use. You know the nursing pillow, breastfeeding? I didn't really use it too much.
No.
I used it a little bit. So if your budget's tight, I would recommend maybe skipping out on the nursing pillow, or trying to find a really like cheap one.
But it might work for you.
But it might work for you.
It might help you.
But I found just using a regular pillow, you know? Like I used to just put a regular pillow underneath, and I feel like that works. You don't need it to be like a dome around you. That's just my opinion though. While we're still talking about feeding, you will definitely need lotion for cracked, sore, bleeding nipples, because if you're a first time mom, it's like 99% probably gonna happen. So you just need to be putting like the lotion. This is the lotion I used. And it, honestly, after the first week of breastfeeding, it goes away. It probably takes like 1 to 3 weeks to really get into the groove of it, and then it doesn't hurt anymore.
It looked painful.
We're really not selling breastfeeding. The next thing you'll need is pads. So when you're a breastfeeding mum, or even if you're not, maybe you will still have this, you will leak. So if you haven't fed in a few hours, your boobs could leak out milk, so you need to put pads into your bra so it doesn't stain your clothes, because it does. Do you remember? I used to wake up and then like have all these patches.
2 little patches.
Yeah, and I found like even if I washed my clothes, the stains don't really ever go.
I don't know.
Now, moving on to expressing and pumping. I think every mum needs to get a really good pump. I would definitely invest in that. Which one do we have? I had the Medela Freestyle Flex, which is right here. Amazing. It was little, it wasn't too noisy, it was super easy. I know Medela has the special bras too that you can put the pump on and walk around, and you don't need to hold it. Definitely invest in a good pump. So I'm gonna put the link below to that one, as well as a photo here so you can see. I couldn't recommend it enough. I did try a few other pumps, but they were bulky and noisy, and it was like just too much fuss. This one is amazing. So if you are pumping and you wanna like have a bit of a stash in the fridge, you can buy some milk storage containers. Now, the ones I used were the Tommee Tippee ones. They're like these little bags, so I'm gonna pop them up here. So I used to put my milk in that, and then you can like label the date that you pumped it. But to be honest, I didn't store too much milk. I just used to pump in the morning if I knew I didn't want to breastfeed during the day, I wanted to bottle feed, and I would just fill up the bottles.
Or you prepping for an event or something like that?
Yeah, I just put the bottles in the fridge, and that would be the bottles for the day. Pumping, what bottles to use? I used Tommee Tippee. I loved them. I thought they were awesome. Georgie, like, drank from them so easy. He went from boob to bottle so easy.
He didn't even notice the difference. Like, he was just like, yep, thank you, thank you.
I think they're like really nice. Like, they look cute too. Like, some of the bottles are really like gross. Like, don't you reckon you've seen
I
them?
thought the same thing.
I'm
That's
like,
so weird.
Like, Tommee Tippee looks nice.
Soulmates.
So, this is what the Tommee Tippee bottles look like. They have different sizes as your baby grows. Georgie also used their dummies. Have a dummy on hand. I think when you have a newborn, it's a lifesaver. Sometimes they just want comfort, and you don't want them just sucking on you just for comfort. Well, I mean, I don't. So.
That's weird.
They do, they don't know any better.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just, they're not even drinking, they're just like using your nipple as a dummy.
Now, if you're formula feeding, I found a formula, I used Aptamil Pro Gold from stages 1 through to whatever 12 months was. I think it was like 3 or 4. I ended up switching it though to the one that was the allergy to cow's milk because Georgie had some skin stuff. Honestly, that formula, he got on from breast to like express breast milk to formula so easy. Like, we had no problems with him. He just changed so easy. And I think the key is to introduce this early. Like, don't breastfeed for
definitely
7 months without ever introducing a bottle.
No.
Like, I used to express my milk from like probably the 3-week mark.
Yeah.
After my milk established. And so he got used to a bottle, and then I introduced formula at probably around 4 months. So I think it's good to introduce that stuff early. I mean, you can stock up on formula, but I always had like 2 tins. I didn't stock up like crazy because the shops will have it.
They cost about $30-40 Australian.
Yeah.
A tin.
They can be expensive. So breastfeeding is definitely the more economical option, and it's also like very healthy, but there's nothing wrong with formula either. Georgie did both and he's amazing. So now, this is a hack that if you're a new mum and you don't want a fussy baby, I never heated Georgie's milk, ever.
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes if it was like, yeah, if it was cold, but it was room temperature. Because I figured breast milk is room temperature, it's not super warm. So even his formula, I just gave it to him room temperature. Obviously, if it was freezing, I'd like put it in some hot water, the bottle, just to like warm it a little bit. But to be honest, Georgie had room temperature milk all the time.
Yeah, we didn't heat it.
I would like, in the morning, I would boil the water, fill up the bottles with the water, have the amount of formula for each bottle ready to go in a little container. Definitely invest in a little container. I'm gonna pop one up here. Mine was from Kmart, it's like $3. Yep. And
it's like a compartment container.
Yeah, for each bottle of the day, and the water would already be in the bottles, and he would just have it the way it is. I'd pour it in, shake it, give it to him. I didn't have to worry about warming it up, and he was fine. So I think sometimes we overcomplicate things. So definitely, if you want like a non-fussy baby, try giving them room temperature bottles. It's fine. You don't need to warm it up.
No.
So diapers, nappies, depending where you are on the globe. So always have a great supply of nappies, but when you have a new baby, you don't know how big they're gonna be. So I reckon 2 packets of like the newborn nappies. I was about to say diapers, but I feel like yeah, definitely go for them. I loved the brand Huggies. I've used that the whole time, so I'm gonna put that up here. I went from newborn to what Georgie is now. He's like a size 4.
2-year-old.
Yeah, Huggies is honestly the best. I think it's like a little bit more expensive, but I just found like I got sent a lot of nappies as well from different companies, and if they just used to leak. I just found because I always used Huggies, I never had a problem. I don't know. Didn't you find that? Like
same with their wipes. I think their wipes are the best. nappies.
Oh, the water wipes for a newborn though, these ones here, I highly recommend because they're just like real watery because newborn poo's quite sticky.
Actually, yeah, that look good.
Yeah, so they're good for a newborn, but then I do feel like the water wipes as you get older, because they can leave the bum kind of wet, it's not good for like a nappy rash.
No.
Definitely Sudocream. Bing.
That's a must.
Sudocream is a must. You should put it on after every nappy change, especially in the beginning when they're so little, because they're constantly getting their nappy change because they're constantly peeing and pooing when they're little.
Yeah. Imagine getting your bum wiped like 30 times a day.
Yeah.
And did we both say 30?
No, I said 10.
Oh.
So definitely invest in a barrier cream. I used Sudocream. Again, get the big one. It's really cheap. Lots of wipes, definitely little disposable bags, scented bags to put the dirty nappies in.
We had a bin, so we had like a disposable. Can we put that up? I think that was awesome.
This is the bin we had.
Yeah, it was like.
Oh, that was in the nursery, yeah, because you're home a lot at the beginning.
It changes bin bags by itself and then it locks it up, kind of thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, it locks it up every time it feels set so it doesn't smell.
Yeah.
Definitely just invest in like the little bin bags. They're like really cheap. $2 you get like 100. Just put it in there and chuck it in the bin and then you don't have room. And a changing table, definitely when they're new. So I'll pop it up what we had. We had a change table that was actually a set of drawers that had all this clothes in it.
Yeah, actually, if you double as a tall
dresser.
Boy, a dresser, whatever you guys call it, but that is actually really helpful too.
Also, when you are out in public, make sure you have a portable like change mat. So I know shopping centers have like changing tables, but you want to put your change mat on top because it's like soft and cushiony, and then you want to put like a disposable one on top, just so like, you know, germs. Okay, next thing I think a lot of mums have a lot of questions about is clothing. So with a newborn, they just need one extra layer to what you're wearing. There's so many things on the internet you can find, but I would say lots of singlets, heaps of singlets. They definitely need singlets when they're that little, and lots of onesies. Even if it's in summer, you're most likely going to be inside in aircon. So you're not going to be like walking in like 40-degree heat with a newborn.
No.
So
like if you're hot, your baby's probably going to be hot.
Yeah, it's just when they're new, you've got to keep them a little bit warmer than you, but not too much warmer because you don't want to overheat them. So I learned in the hospital that actually putting beanies on their head, the first 24 hours they do when you give birth because it helps regulate their temperature, but afterwards it actually overheats them.
Yeah, so don't put beanies.
Yeah, like they will at the beginning, but that's fine. But then after, in that like days to follow, you really shouldn't, unless you're in a really, really cold place.
Yeah.
But in Australia,
we didn't need a beanie.
especially Queensland, no.
Yeah.
So always like check with your doctors and your midwives and your nurses, they'll help you, but usually the rule is one extra layer for newborns. So lots of singlets.
Yeah, you can't have too many. You can't have too many onesies, you can't have too many singlets, literally.
Well, or else you're just gonna be washing all the time.
Yeah.
So I went to Bonds, I still do. They're the best, but for newborns, like you can go anywhere. You can go to Kmart, Target. You don't need to spend a lot of money. They're gonna ruin them anyway. To be honest, when a newborn goes out, they go out in a onesie. You're not gonna put them in an outfit because they're new and you wanna protect them and cover them. So to be honest, that's all I'm gonna put on that list for that is onesies, singlets, and socks because that's all he lived in.
Yeah, because they don't have shoes big enough for their feet are like this big.
They're so little.
And
They're
it's
just
like,
a sock. Just put socks on them.
So there's like little socket things that you put on and they look like shoes because they're so small.
We're gonna quickly touch on blankets. I think you can never have too many blankets. We had a lot of little like, they were almost
Swaddles.
like burping cloths and swaddles, like the big ones. Yeah, we always just used to swaddle Georgia. The sleeping bag ones are really good. Love to Dream, that's what we used. But you can never have too many blankets. Have a baby shower. People will get you lots of blankets. Then you won't have to go looking for them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
We didn't buy any, we got gifted them as presents, so.
Yeah.
But really handy.
Really, really handy.
So like, I'd get a range from like.
From thin, is they called muslin wraps?
I don't know what they're called, but.
Yeah, just get like a whole range. You will somehow accumulate them. I don't even know how, but you will.
We have tons of blankets.
You can never have too many. Okay, next section for newborn essentials is bath time. So bath time is a really cute time. So cute.
Okay.
No, he's so little. It makes me sad that he's so big now. And I'm picturing...
Yeah, alright, there's gonna be another one.
Yeah.
It's fine, you're pregnant.
Okay. So for bath time, you need like a plastic infant bath. I got mine from Babyhood. I'm gonna pop it up here, and I also had a bath stand, so I didn't have to bend over. Having it on the stand, we just popped it in the shower, and it was honestly so perfect.
It's got a plug on the bottom, a hose on the bottom as well. So when you're ready, just unplug it, and then it hoses, the water just filters out to the drain.
And it's
really
always
easy.
clean. And we also got from Babyhood this little bath support, which I'll pop up here, that you sit them on, so you don't have to worry about holding them up.
And also when they're getting bathed, like little tea towels.
Little washcloths.
Little wash towel, whatever they
I had like
washcloths.
20, lots of little washcloths, because you need one for the face, and you use a different corner for each eye, because if one eye has like gunk, you don't want to spread it to the other eye. Then you have a cloth for their, you know, private parts, and then a cloth maybe to keep them warm.
Yeah, you put it in warm water and just have it on their chest.
As for like soaps and stuff, we use Mistela. QV is really good. There's heaps of stuff out there. It's really personal preference. The prices range. There's some really affordable options, and then maybe some more expensive ones, but I think you need like a nice bath oil, as well as like a moisturizer as well. We had a hooded towel for Georgie, but I mean, he was so little, you just need any towel, like just call it the baby's towel. You know what I mean? You could just use a towel that you have at home. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's soft, like, you know how old towels can go hard sometimes? Maybe buy a new towel, like a soft new towel.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about bedtime. So we didn't have a baby monitor. That's something though you could invest in. It really depends. You don't need it at the beginning though, because they're gonna be sleeping right in your room, like right next to you.
Well, for us, anyway.
Well, well, even if they're in a bassinet, they're still gonna be in your room most likely the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your first baby, I think you're not gonna move it the first week. Maybe you will, but most people don't.
Most people are scared, like they don't want anything to happen to their baby, so it's sleeping right next to us.
So we had Georgie in a co-sleeper. I'm gonna pop it up here. So you actually like it attached to the bed. Now there's been some dangerous co-sleepers. This one was a really safe one because there's actually like a bar, so like he can't roll out. So you're definitely gonna need either like the co-sleeper, which is a bassinet as well, or a bassinet. Make sure it's breathable and it's up to all the safety standards. The great thing about the co-sleeper or any bassinet is you can move it. We actually had a little Moses basket that we had downstairs.
Yeah,
remember?
we had two, yeah. So we had the co-sleeper, then we had a little
that was really helpful.
Downstairs. Like if it helps having different kind of things in different rooms, so you don't have to keep.
I'll pop up what a
rolling
Moses
around.
basket is, and it was really great when we went to people's houses because we'd bring the Moses basket with us and then put it on like a couch or somewhere that's like safe, that's not going to move.
And his co-sleeper was his bed.
Yeah, and you can be in the co-sleeper till like 6-7 months, so it lasts you a long time. We bought a cot at the beginning, but you don't need to. If your budget's tight, you can just start with the bassinet.
You definitely don't need a cot.
You don't need a cot for ages.
Unless you want to put him in there.
Unless you're starting sleep training from the beginning. But if you're not doing it straight up, you're gonna wait a few weeks or a few months. Buy the cot then, because there's no need having a cot in their room when it's gonna do nothing. But it is exciting to do it in the room.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you're in fine.
This is the cot.
But if you're on a budget.
So we're obviously, it's over there. So, and we've got it like a toddler bed now. So this is the cot we got Georgie. I'm gonna pop it here. The great thing about this cot is that it lasts them from literally, it can be turned into a bassinet. So it can be made smaller, so you can keep it in your room, and it extends to this cot size, and then you can take off the side so it becomes a toddler bed. And then doesn't it become a seat-in chair as well? So the great thing about this cot is it's so versatile that they have it from like 0 to 4. They can sleep in it, so you don't have to worry about getting them a bed. So it's really good value for money. So it is a little bit pricey, but
most cots are.
Yeah, and you just get
if you
more.
want something like sort of nice-ish, but you can get something from k-mart or.
You just have to be careful with like the breathable aspects of it, and it's a firm mattress.
Oh yeah, it needs to be a firm mattress.
Yeah, because then
they don't sink into the thing and
not breathe.
Not breathe. They can't get out of the sunk mattress.
To be honest, this Babyhood cot that transforms into a bassinet toddler bed is the best, because you could literally just buy this and have it as your bassinet. Then when you think they're getting bigger, make it a cot, wheel it into their own room if you want. I will touch on sleeping bags for bedtime. And they have like special, like they'll tell you like the weather, like as in not the weather, like what the temperature is for them, you know how they tell you?
Oh, does it?
No, on the packet when you buy
Oh, right, yeah.
So there'll be like a summer one.
It'll be like the thickness level and how hot it could possibly get.
And have maybe a thermometer in the room. Some parents do if you're like stressing about that, because then you'll be like, oh, it's so many degrees. This one's for this many degrees, blah, blah, blah. Love to Dream, I mentioned it earlier. Amazing Swaddles.
They're cool, they're nice.
If you have any questions, I feel like you should just message them and they'll educate you on it all.
Yeah.
The next newborn essential is the car seat. That was probably the first one we should have mentioned, because when you leave the hospital, you can't leave unless you have a car seat.
Yeah, true.
We have the Britax Safety. What's it called? Britax Safety.
We'll pop it up.
I'll pop it up here. This one lasts them from 0 to 4. So you'll definitely need like a stroller or pram. We had this one, really cheap. You can have a newborn in it. It's more of a stroller. You can open it with one arm. If budget is something that is stressing you out, you don't need to spend a lot of money on this, and this fits in any car.
Prams are expensive.
Yeah.
They're like
ridiculous.
minimum usually $1,000. We spent $200 on this.
Now let's talk about like some, what would you say this? Like,
they're like little necessities that people don't really think about.
Until something happens and you're like, I need it.
So I think
a thermometer.
A thermometer.
You know which one
definitely.
I want to buy this time? The one that they use for like Coke, where they just beep
Scan
you.
you.
They're like $50, but I feel like it's so
Look,
worth it.
there are just little baby thermometers. They're like $10, or you can get.
They're like in a kit. You can buy like a first aid or like.
You need the thermometers because really dangerous when little babies heat up, they can die. So.
Yeah, thermometer, nail clippers.
Nail clippers.
A little brush, you know, after a bath. To brush
if you
their
want
hair.
that. But nail clippers are important.
But get the baby ones.
Yeah, the little baby ones. I accidentally tried it with my baby clippers once.
Your clippers, they're not baby.
My clippers are not baby clippers. And I nicked him.
He cut his finger off.
No, but I nicked him a little bit and I was like, like you definitely need baby clippers.
I was very angry.
Because their nails grow really quickly and become
and you
sharp.
should cut their nails because they'll scratch their eyes.
Yeah, and little sharp catty nails, and then you'll wake up and they have.
Actually, for a baby, Georgie never had scratches. Barely any.
A couple. That's because I cut his nails.
It's because we always cut his nails.
Yeah.
Other parents don't cut. I've noticed.
And medicine is the next one.
Yeah, the baby panel and stuff. A little syringe. Just have it on hand in case. Another essential would be some sort of diaper bag. They range in prices. You could literally get like a $5 to $10 backpack from somewhere. It doesn't matter.
But everything you need to keep in there. It's going to be your most used bag. Let's put it
It actually will. So if you want
to spend some money because you want to look
treat
nice
yourself, yeah,
and treat yourself, do it.
That's probably the one thing I would like spend a bit of money on, because you got like over a pram, because you're gonna use this bag all the time.
It's gonna go with you everywhere.
So some essentials now that are nice to have but you don't actually need is like a rocking chair. I've got one. I never even sat on it.
We bought a rocking chair and didn't sit on it once.
You know what I think is a good buy that I wish I bought, but I just didn't because I guess like it was expensive, is a baby carrier.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely buying one this time.
This one, which one?
The RT Pro, like this brand.
That's what we're getting this.
I want like two though.
We didn't have that.
I want one so you can have like a padded and then I can have a padded.
We didn't
really
have that.
fashionable.
Yeah, we didn't have that the first time, and
you need it because if you're hanging out washing or you're doing stuff, even washing up, cooking, you can have the baby on you.
100%.
Or you go to the grocery store, you don't want to bring a pram every time. You can just carry him. As for like other things, like playthings, the only thing I would suggest for a newborn is maybe getting a little mat. This is the brand I had, Munchkin and Bear. It was good for tummy time.
Yeah.
Like I would say that's a good investment. Georgie still uses his color in, like he colors on it. He does all his activities on it. It's so you don't like it's so they don't get dirty when they're new, but then it's so they don't dirty your stuff later.
Yeah.
So I think a mat is always going to be a good investment because they'll use it as toddlers. But as for everything else, people are going to gift you stuff as for rattles and toys. They're newborns, they don't need much.
Those are the essentials.
Yeah.
Everything we've listed here, I think are absolutely essentials.
Have we forgotten anything?
Coming from parents, we've already been first-time parents and we know what we needed and what we didn't need.
Don't waste money on clothes. Just buy onesies. I wasted so much money. Do you remember all the clothes I got?
Barely wore them.
Well, because he's too little.
Too small.
It's weird. You can't put a little newborn in all this stuff. Like, it's uncomfortable. You just want them to be safe.
And they barely fit.
Yeah, in a
They barely
onesie.
fit.
So I hope that helped. That was actually very informative.
Yeah, that was good. That's coming from experience.
A little bit different today, not so entertaining besides our few domestics. If you have any questions, pop them below. You want any more advice on like babies? I guess now that we're parents, we have a bit of
yeah, we're expert parents. No one's an expert parent. Everyone's gonna be an expert on their own and what best works for you.
This is just the stuff that worked for us.
This is just a guide because I know if we had a guide at the beginning, we would have loved to listen to it.
We would have saved so much money. We just
saved so much money. So this is for all you people who don't know what you're doing, because we did it. And that is all.
Catch you later, Condos.
Catch us later.